Welcome to Wired In. I'm Diana Galata, Executive Director of Public Relations and Marketing for Hampton City Schools. I'm very pleased today to have a special guest, Mr. Jeff Mordica, Principal of Kecoughtan High School. Welcome.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
We're very pleased you're here. Now, before we get into a little bit more about Kecoughtan High School, it's my understanding that you were at Kecoughtan previously, so why don't you tell us a little bit about your career path and how you got to become the principal of Kecoughtan High School?
Certainly. Well, this is my first year as principal at Kecoughtan High School. It's certainly not my first year being involved in the community that Kecoughtan serves. I actually spent 6 years as a middle school teacher in Chesapeake, and we moved to this side of the water. And I came not knowing a great deal about this side of the water and went to the teacher fair, where they had just open interviews, and I just walked in, and the first person I sat down with was Dr. Woods,
Okay.
who on the spot I interviewed with her. She offered me a position at Sims Middle School teaching. I knew nothing about Sims. I knew not much about Hampton, but of course I said certainly I'd love to, and took the job, went to Sims, had a tremendous experience at Sims as a teacher. Taught history there for 3 years, and then transitioned within Sims to assistant principal at Sims Middle School, which, as you know, is a feeder school for Kecoughtan High School. After that, I went to Kecoughtan High School and served as 2 years as an assistant principal. For 2 years, I did go to Isle of Wight and served as principal at Smithfield Middle, but was ready to come home when the opportunity provided itself. And the opportunity came open, and the job opening of principal came open. And while things were going well at Smithfield Middle, it was simply something I couldn't pass up. And because I knew that was home, I knew that's where I had felt such an attachment to the families, to the community, to the students. And coming back has been an amazing experience. Just having that sense of pride. It almost feels like I went to high school there, and it's my high school, and I feel that level of ownership, and I hope it shows through my actions with the kids and students and families, and seeing them all progress and building those relationships has simply been amazing. So, like I said, while first year principal at Kecoughtan High School, certainly not new to the community, the students, and the families.
So tell us a little bit about that. It's hard to believe that graduation is coming pretty soon and that you will have completed your first year as principal at Kecoughtan High School. And I can see by the way you're talking how much you love it there. So tell us about your first year and how it's been going for you.
It's been going terrific. It's really been an opportunity for me to not only reestablish those relationships, but build and nurture new relationships. Like I said, with the families, the students, the community, and it helped a lot. Coming in, knowing so many students, knowing so many parents, and having them know me and have that trust in me and say, you've worked with my child before and you showed that you cared about my child, truly cared about them, has really helped make that transition a much smoother one. But also coming in knowing kind of where our strengths and weaknesses are and how we can continue to carry on with the great traditions, because Kecoughtan is a school that has a storied tradition. And we want to continue that storied tradition while also continuing to grow each and every day and enhancing the great things that we have and being innovative and bringing new ideas to prepare our students for the ever-changing world. So, it's been something that has been a fun thing for me. Some of the students, when I came back, some of them come up to me, especially when I went from, AP at Sims Middle to AP at high school and then back again as principal. Some of the students come to me and, say things like, I'm not making the same mistakes I was back in middle school. And my conversation reply is, I didn't expect you to be. That's why we had those conversations in middle school, and that's why we talked about, where we wanted to see you go and making good decisions. And I knew you were going to grow, and that's what I expected out of you. And it's so good to see that because you've seen them progress from coming in as children, coming from 5th grade to 6th grade, to now young adults that are getting ready to move on into the real world, whether it be college, whether it be vocational school, whether it be career. They're ready to move on, and seeing that level of maturity and responsibility and the changes in them is very rewarding for me. And then yesterday I was talking to a group of young adults at Kecoughtan, and I talked about the pleasure that it's going to give me when they walk across the stage and I'm able to hand them that diploma. And just to be able to reflect in my mind, even for a brief second, about the growth and all the positive experiences that we've had together.
Well, you talked about graduating and preparing for life after high school. One of the great programs that you all offer is the Governor's STEM Academy for Architecture and Applied Arts. Yes. So can you share a little bit with our viewers about that program at Kecoughtan High?
Most definitely. That's something we're extremely excited about. This summer, we were recognized as Virginia's 23rd STEM Academy, a very prestigious honor. But beyond it just being an honor, it is truly something that we are implementing at our school to fully help our students to acquire the skill sets necessary for them to be prepared after high school for the high wage, high demand, high skilled jobs that are available for them out there. And through these opportunities, when they graduate from Kecoughtan High School, we're going to be able to say, they're going to be able to say, I am prepared. And that for different kids, that's going to be different routes, which is fine. For some, it may be, going to college they may want to be an engineer, but they're going to be I was a part of that pathway. And it really helped me. I had these hands-on experiences. I was in these classes that really prepared me. And then what we do is, a big part of that is making it cross-curriculum. So when they go to their math class, they're tying in those same experiences that they may be having in their engineering and technology classes, which for them brings the learning together and makes it so much more relevant and meaningful for them. And then the students have ownership of that learning because they know, hey, this is something that I'm really interested in and that I want to do in the future. So, it's not something, why am I learning this? Or, why do I need this? It's, you need this for this reason because in this job you do this and this is how it's applied. And when you get that sense of ownership of students in their learning and their engagement, you can just see the inquiry just burst. And you can see their involvement and their engagement and the teachers' engagement, because it becomes relevant, it becomes meaningful. And as you tie it across all the subject areas, now every class they go to, okay, they're making this relevant to something I want to do and I'm interested in. So I'm really enjoying my experience while along the way also benefiting greatly because this is preparing me for my future.
Right. So you spoke about hands-on learning and relevance, and one of the groups of students that we recently recognized at the school board meeting were those students and teachers involved with the tiny house project.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
That was amazing. We were approached by the Peninsula Housing and Builders Association, their CEO. She's actually on our board academy, Leslie Martin, and she approached us about building a tiny house. And, we jumped on that. And, one of the movements with the tiny house is the efficiency and making life simpler and that sort of thing. And our students actually built that right there in our construction lab with the students having those every day, coming in with those hands-on experience. And it's one of those things where, we talk about engagement and ownership. The students didn't just do that during their block with that class. Mm-hmm. I mean, there were students coming in before school, after school, because they felt like, hey, this is my tiny house.
Right.
This is representing me. Mm-hmm. and I want this to be the best it can be. And it was amazing. I mean, the finished product, we took it, actually built it there at Kecoughtan, and then it was transported over to the convention center where it was displayed at the Home and Garden Show. And the response was unbelievable. I mean, and this is where it really brings in for me. You know, when you talk about, okay, this is the definition of a STEM academy, or this is the definition of how it's supposed to work, to me, it really doesn't kick in until you see it being applied and you see the students involved and you talk to them about their experiences and you talk to the teachers about their experiences working with the students. And, you know, just kind of a story with that, you know, when it was displayed at the convention center, you know, those students that helped build that house, they were there throughout the weekend. I mean, just stayed there to make sure everything was in place and that nothing got out of line, meaning the mulch that was donated to us. And, you know, because that was their ownership. And, you know, and then, you know, we had a reception to kind of celebrate, you know, the achievement and, you know, the accomplishment of our academy in regards to the tiny house and the mayor, and we had a lot of representatives there. And, you know, you saw students that were, you know, there that helped build that, like Sonny and Ben, and, you know, they're straightening up, like I said, the mulch, and they're going around to make sure everything's in place before the celebration. And, you know, that's what we're trying, that's what this does. That's what the Academy does, is it helps bring in those real life, real world experiences where children and young adults get an opportunity to say, hey, this is my learning. I'm responsible for my learning, and it's something that I have ownership, and I want to learn in this because I know that I'm going to use this later. I know how it's going to benefit me, and I really enjoy this learning, and that's why I'm going after school and coming before school. And, you know, that's something that you're not going to get unless kids are engaged and truly are enjoying their hands-on learning.
It sounds like they had a lot of pride in the tiny house.
They did.
So let's switch gears for a little bit and talk about your award-winning choir program.
Yes.
I was bombarded by emails and tweets over the weekend about their performance at King's Dominion Choral Invitational. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, they participated in the show Fusion. And all along, I had been to RKHS Invitational and seen them perform. And you know the great things in your school, and that's one of the many great things at Kecoughtan High School is our choir department. And Mr. Allison does a tremendous job, along with tons of supports from his parents. You would be amazed at the number of parents that come out and help and support. There's no way that could be functional without that support. But they went to King's Dominion, and I talked to Mr. Allison in the hallway, and he said, you know, it all clicked. It all came together. And, you know, through that, we saw, you know, our Harbor Lights being recognized. And they received numerous awards, and I can't even name all the numerous awards they received, but they were the, you know, a superior rating, overall grand champions. And it wasn't just our Harbor Lights, the Touch of Jade, superior rating, overall second place grand champions. Our Fifth Avenue received an excellent rating, and they, you know, received the Best Soloist Award overall. So, you know, it's not one particular group in the choir. It's the entire choir that is really, you know, just showing why Kecoughtan is the home of everyday greatness. One of the examples, one of the many.
They've done a great job representing Hampton City Schools and representing Kecoughtan for sure. Well, before we close, I do want to give you an opportunity to share some other great news about Kecoughtan. I don't think we have a show long enough to include all of it.
It's hard. It's hard for me to.
But I can tell by the way you talk about your school that you're very proud. But I want to give you a few more moments to share a little bit more about the great things going on at Kecoughtan before we close.
Certainly, and you know, I'll start with some recent events. You know, our Model General Assembly just competed in a competition, and they had 3 of their bills advanced through the assembly. and one of their bills was actually signed by the governor. We had a student, Jeremy Nelson, selected to be a speaker for them, Speaker of the House for 2016, which is, it's a great achievement. It is a great to be elected as Speaker of the House for 2016. And he'll be going off this summer to participate in a sort of camp with the Model General Assembly where he'll get additional experiences, and he'll bring that back to us and our Youth in Government program and simply continue to grow that and enhance the program that's already in place. So, you know, it's those type of recognitions that allow us not only to have our students recognized, but for us to be able to grow our program. Our FBLA, the weekend before that, they competed in their competition and were recognized as an honor chapter. Our DECA, late in February, competed in the state competition and were recognized as state champions. We had 12 individual students overall recognized, 7 that advanced to go to the international competition in Orlando, Florida, which is coming up at the end of this week. So, you know, it's those sort of great things which show the varying things going on. Athletics, you look at, you know, some of the things going on in athletics. Football, our football team advanced to the playoffs for the first time in 9 years and won their first playoff round. The boys swim team, they actually won their conference and were actually second in the region at the swim meet championships. Our wrestlers, we had 2 wrestlers that placed in the top 4 at the state. So, you know, the greatness, it's not in one single area at Kecoughtan. It's something that, you know, I really enjoy about Kecoughtan. It makes me feel so good about it is the diversity of achievement in extracurriculars, in academics, you know, and you look at our AP offerings, you know, some of the things that we offer in regards to that. We offer the most AP courses of any school in the division. We have the most students taking AP classes. We have the most students achieving qualifying scores. You know, there's a great thing. We have a PBIS initiative in place to recognize for positive behavior our students and teachers. And through that initiative, you know, we have Warrior Strong bracelets that we issue out, and you know, for kids that are doing things that we see, you know, above and beyond, just representing the morals and standards that we stand for at Kecoughtan High School. And we'll see a student or a teacher doing those things. And, you know, we have bracelets, and we just, here you go, thank you for doing that. We really appreciate that. And that gives them a sense of pride of, hey, people are recognizing, I'm glad to be a part of this Warrior Strong nation and a part of this everyday greatness. And, you know, for teachers, it may be something like they're out engaged with students, you know, in the hallways during transitions, or they're mentoring. So we have all kinds of teachers that go above and beyond to, you know, to advocate and build relationships with students and to really advocate and help and be a support and let them know you have somebody here who cares about you. And I want to be a support in your life to help you be successful. And that trust just helps those students be successful, and it really drives them, and it really has a positive impact on their achievement. And we want to make sure at Kecoughtan that we recognize all of those things that some people may say as little, but are essential to have success for every child.
Great. Well, will you come back in the future and continue this conversation?
Most definitely. You know, I feel like, you know, there's so many great things going on that certainly I left a lot out, and I apologize in advance for that. But, you know, I did want to mention some of the things going on, and especially some of the recent things going on. And, you know, I'm always up for coming to recognize our students, parents, staff, and the great things that they're doing.
Well, thanks for joining us today, Mr. Mordica. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for watching Wired In. Have a great week.